Hello, it's me, Dr. Jodi Dinnerman, your Practice Joy show host. I just couldn't be more excited if I tried to be. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be speaking with people who have truly served as a mentor in my personal life, in the world of chiropractic, people who I've learned from, people who I've gone to school from, people who I have studied. The Practice Joy Show is all about spreading joy like wildfire to practices worldwide. So here we go. I'm going to take a couple of minutes and introduce our guests for the Mentors episode of the Practice Joy Show. My first guest is Dr. Lou Corleto. He is a student of life, a transformational facilitator. He's been on a path of self-mastery for 4 decades. He's explored all 7 continents and over 55 countries to learn, grow, and evolve. He lives on a 92-acre forest land in the foothills of the Cherokee National Forest with his life partner, Liddy, who many of us know and love. Arno is absolutely a legend in chiropractic who has inspired and impacted tens of thousands all over the world to become extraordinary, myself included. With his life soulmate, Jane, he splits his time between Durango, Colorado, and Baja, California, and Mexico. Father of 2 adopted beautiful children and a grandfather of 3 adorable grandchildren. Wow, that's incredible. Danielle has become one of my closest friends. Danielle Angela is a holistic chiropractor, a hypnotherapist, and a life coach with over 20 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. And I can truly say that she's been one of my mentors in the world of coaching. Dr. Danny Knowles, one of my classmates from Sherman College of Straight Chiropractic, connects people to more of all of it. Whether it's in private practice in Boulder, Colorado at Network Family Center, up-leveling skill sets of doctors and students around the world with Network Spinal, increasing skill sets of chiropractic teams to empower more lives through lifetime wellness practice, or his family experience. He seeks constantly to get more out of life with the people who he touches. And his beautiful wife, Rochelle, is also somebody who I hold near and dear to my heart. And finally, Dr. Sharon Gorman. Dr. Sharon's been practicing for 39 years the art, science, and philosophy of chiropractic. She's run multiple practices in the Poconos in the Atlanta area and has trained, ready, over 100 associates. During that time, she's also trained dozens of students, interns. Dr. Sharon is one of those people that we're just so lucky to have in our profession because she truly loves chiropractic. And if you're a lover of chiropractic, you want that love to spread. So Dr. Sharon also lives her life with her kids and her grandkids, and she's doing so much good in the world of chiropractic. So here's what I want to do. Today we're going to have a conversation about the joy of practice. How do we honor joy? How do we uphold joy? How do we infiltrate joy? And how do we spread joy through the art of our practice experience? I'm going to start with Lou. Lou, for sure, you are one of my favorite people on the planet. Talk to me about joy, my friend.
I just have to say, Jodi, I mean, that just exudes joy. As it's been said, right, the happiness is not the destination, happiness is the way, right? Same with joy. So to enjoy anything is to be in joy. And first and foremost is, how do I get to show up in service from that place of, first and foremost, for me, it's a spiritual process that I get to remember who I am. And by doing so, I have the gift to help other people to do the same. So every day I have the opportunity to witness people to remember who they are at their next levels and express that in their own way. And that brings me joy. So when I'm in that space, then that's just what gets to exude from every part of me.
Give me more. If you say that you were in the supermarket, if you go to supermarkets and you're in line and somebody's standing in front of you and you start chit-chatting and they say to you, what do you do? How would you answer that question in honor of joy?
I help people remember that they are more than their body, that they are the driver.
Mm.
And to translate that you're the spirit within and not the vehicle that you inhabit. And when you learn that, you can walk your life in trust. And if you'd like to know more, come play.
I love it. We're going to move to Arno. So Arno is, I'm not sure that you know this, but from 25 years ago, your voice is still in my head to be better and serve better and move better through the world, including how I take care of my body, my physical body, my spiritual body, my emotional body. And you've touched so many people with the way that you teach and the way that you serve and the way that you train. Talk to me about joy, Arno.
Oh, for me, joy came when I got in touch with my soul purpose. When I stumbled into chiropractic, something awakened inside me, and I realized this was my life purpose, my soul destination. So from that place, as long as I stay aligned with my vision, my mission, my purpose, and stay on task, I have internal joy. And I always think that, you can express outer joy, but it first has to come from a place of internally feeling that joy because of the ways that you serve to a higher degree, to a higher purpose. So anytime that I find myself in a place where I can share my vision, where I can inspire others, joy just fills me. I feel completely content, satisfied, fulfilled, and that's how I express joy. It can be in very simple gesture through life. You go to a supermarket, as you mentioned earlier, asking Lou about a supermarket. You touch somebody on the shoulder just because it's a nice thing that comes to you spontaneously to do, and you know that it had done something to them. That gesture, the clerk that's checking your grocery out is never being touched, never being acknowledged. And just that simple act radiates joy into the world. So it's basically to walk into the world, caring for others, and always upholding your own inspiration, your own vision, your own mission, your own purpose. And when you're in that place, then joy is there.
Mm.
I love it. I learned my first aha moment with it doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing. It's my job to be an ambassador of joy to the best of my ability as authentically as possible in each moment. Dan Millman, the Peaceful Warrior, the story is so beautiful, and it definitely was my first. I saw him speak when I was at Rutgers when I was in my teens, and it planted a seed. And yesterday, getting here to Dallas, I had 2 Uber drivers. One of them is a minister of love, and he works with troubled teens to teach them how to have respectful relationships with their partners, right? The second Uber driver is writing a book about love and trust. What are the chances of that? So I truly feel that when we align ourselves with the intention, yes, we're going to mess it up from time to time because we're of human experience, right? But the watching all of the synchronicities and coincidences, watching universe say yes as we move forward, it's where the joy definitely hits me on the journey for sure. And then there's Danielle. Danielle was one of the first people when I saw the vision of what was possible with this part of my career. She said yes to me immediately. She saw what I was doing and she said, "Sister, don't listen to the naysayer." She didn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? She took time to get on the phone with me. She said, "You can do anything you put your mind to." And since then, I've come to know, trust, and love and appreciate this woman's mind is so creative and so brilliant. So Danielle, talk to us about joy and how it shows up.
Oh my goodness, Jodi, when you started talking about joy in like your marketing and branding, I was so uncomfortable. And I was uncomfortable because I was like, wow, what is the purpose or the priority perhaps of joy when so many health and wellness practitioners are just getting by? Is joy even something that we can prioritize or that we can aim to experience, right? So it allowed for me to also have my own self-reflection of like, what do I believe is possible in regard to our experience, my own experience? Do I believe that like we just have to kind of be status quo, or do I believe that joy is possible, and not only possible, but possible for a consistent state of being? And what I have come to see as I've watched and learned from you over the last few years is that joy is a choice. It's not a, is this available for me? It is a choice. And that has shifted so much of how I see my own experience, how I relate to my children, and how I show up for my clients. And it's been such a lesson to acknowledge that joy is a choice. And so no matter where we are, that's the beauty of it, right? No matter where we are, no matter what our current reality is, we can always choose joy. We can always choose that expression or that state of being. And choosing it means like the smallest things can be joyful. And if that's where we start, that's where we start. If joy is just taking a walk outside and that's what brings you joy today, that's beautiful. Start there. And as you implement those things that bring you those small amounts of joy, and your capacity to experience and hold joy expands, then you also, of course, bring that into your interactions with your patients as well. So
do you have to work at it? So I have to work at it. Every day I have to make a choice. I can listen to them or I can listen to them. And
yes.
the them could be parts of myself. The them could be people pointing their finger. The them could be forces that I don't have control over, where there are boxes being created that I refuse to live in or be a part of. And
yes.
I can choose to focus on how much that sucks, or I can choose to focus on there's got to be a coochie coochie coo button in this situation. So for me, I choose the happy moment over the frustrating moment when I'm aligned with taking care of myself, when I'm walking my talk, when I'm getting adjusted. If you don't know what adjusted means, if you don't have a family chiropractor who you lean on to reconnect on a regular basis, please reach out to one of the people that you see on this show. It's essential for the human experience, the animal experience too, for that matter. So what are some of the things, Danielle? I want to ask you this question because I know that you're so good at this. What are some of the things that you do regularly to make that choice?
Consciously making that choice, first and foremost, revisiting my core values nearly every day, reminding myself of what are the states of being that I'm choosing. And I keep a list of them so that I can visually see them, because I'm a very visual person, as most of us are. So I need the visual reminders, and also the visual reminders help to reprogram the subconscious. Even when you're not actively reading them, you're seeing them unconsciously, and it's seeping into your unconscious mind. Like I had mentioned, just spending time outside is, for me, a way that I cultivate joy. It's very easy for me to stay inside and just, see one client after the next client after the next client. I have to be very intentional about going outside and spending time outside, being out of the work, if you will, and into just like the being present, experiencing nature.
And letting go of the tapes, I should be doing something else right now.
Yes.
Because there's always that, especially as entrepreneurs, we feel that there's always something more that we should be doing or could be doing, not only as in an entrepreneurial spirit, but also in like I'm on a quest. I truly feel like maybe I have 50 years left. How many people can I touch every day and spread joy? So I want to open up the conversation with Dr. Danny Knowles. And Danny and I went to school together. I used to clean his office in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He was my first friend to open a practice, and I got to watch him. He took over my chiropractor's office, and I watched him go through that. And I said, that's kind of what that's going to look like when I get out of here, when I get out of school. And he has since taken on such amazing, powerful leadership roles within the profession of chiropractic and beyond. So the idea or the thought that somebody like Danny Knowles and Rochelle and your beautiful family, you're out there connecting with truly millions of people, and you've got such a silly heart, a happiness, a spring in your step. It makes me put my head on the pillow at night and say, okay, we're good, right? So talk to me about, how does joy show up? How do you uphold it? How do you honor it day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour?
So the vital thing is to count it all joy. You have to count it all joy. Maybe people listening to this and saying, well, I don't have joy in my life. I have all this crud going on. And here's the thing, joy is a spiritual game. It's a spiritual game that you're playing every day. And yes, you have to choose it. Yes, it takes intention. And it has to do with bandwidth. You'll have things that happen to you in life, in practice, personal life. There are people that leave you. There are people that drop out of practice. There'll be challenges in practice. All those things are part of a great life. There'll be health challenges. There'll be people that that abandon you. These things will happen. You have to find a way to count it all joy. And it has to do with bandwidth, your energy state, your ability to keep an energy-rich state. Sometimes that is not easy. See, as a person's spine and nerve system loses integrity, they have less bandwidth to navigate change. They have less bandwidth, just like they're going down to 3 LTE or 4 LTE on their phone. If you go from 3 LTE to 4 LTE to 3G to 4G to 5G, regardless of what we think about, electromagnetic waves, as you get more bandwidth, you have greater ability to count it all joy, versus that things will sideline you. You can see the gift in those things when you have more bandwidth. And there's less bandwidth, you contract, and you'll see everything as something that's awful. And then you're not going to be able to experience the joy in the moment. And pain is anything that takes you away from experiencing the joy in the moment. Look, I've been in a hospital multiple times, wondering if I was going to live. And to find the gift in that is not necessarily easy. And there are people that are in this, watching this, that had other challenges. Maybe they've been betrayed in things. And you have to find a way to find joy in it. And if you're in a lower energy state, that will actually be offensive to hear, because you'll say, can't you see how awful this is? However, as your bandwidth for life increases, you have greater possibility for seeing the gifts in some of the most awful things that happen to you. And that's really the spiritual game of life, not just practice, but personal life, your relationships, everything you do. And it's a game. And, we're all in this game of life where none of us are going to get out of it. However, we have to find ways to have our state be infused to be greater bandwidth, so we can experience joy in the littlest things, like Arno said, like in a smile of someone, or in the trials and tribulations that we all have in our lives. And the thing is, the wound is the crack where the light comes in. Sometimes it's really hard to see that. But the greater bandwidth, you'll see it. The thing is, will you see it now, or will it be 10 or 20 years from now? And that has to do with your bandwidth to count things joy, even in the moments that might be more challenging. And as other people said here, finding ways to do that are the game that you're playing. And the more bandwidth you have to be in an energy-rich state, the more ability you have to do that in all moments. It's the old adage, life is not about weathering the storm. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. There will be rain and there'll be thunderstorms. And can you dance among that? And the less ability to do that, the more it's going to be less like joy. The more ability you have to do that, which all has to do with your bandwidth. Can you go above 5G to whatever's the next thing? Okay. So that if you're playing the game of life on an old Commodore 64, it's going to be crashing. It's not going to be doing, you're not going to be able to handle a certain amount of demand. And you'll see things as miserable. So remember, it's a spiritual game.
Right. There's so much to digest and unpack in what you just said. And I think the one thing that I want to respond with is one of the gifts of getting older in years is the knowing that even if my bandwidth is low, I'm going to be taken care of, and somebody's going to show up, or something's going to show up, or I'm going to catch a rainbow from the corner of my eye and I'm going to reconnect, right? As long as I'm doing those things that spark joy for me along the way. So thank you for that, Danny. Hi, it's me, Dr. Jodi Dinnerman, your Practice Joy Show host. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Practice Joy Show. You are officially on commercial break, which means one thing around here. It's time for some gift giving. You may be one of our audience members looking to increase joy in a spot or two around the practice. You may be overflowing with joy, but have some room for efficiency with systems. Either way, in our world, you're worth celebrating. We're going to send you 3 days of gifts, which will end up right in your inbox. Your day one gift is all about time management and schedule flow. Adding these time tools are going to let you get out of the office at least 30 minutes earlier each day so that you have more time to enjoy outside of the office. On day 2, I'm going to send you a free copy of my first book, Staffless. This quick read Joy Sparker will provide real deal copy-paste solutions for practice front desk systems. And then on day 3, we will conclude the gifting with some practice mindset goodies. We get how overwhelming private practice can be, and our overwhelm tools are so simply stated and lovingly delivered. They're bound to leave you smiling. Our intention is to pamper you with joy, as we know that a more joyful you equals a more joyful community. Then we can rest assured that our mission is being accomplished, to spread joy like wildfire to practices worldwide. So here we go. Come on over to thepracticejoyshow.com to get your 3 days of gifting. You can also use our QR code. Just open up that smartphone of yours, go to your camera, point and click, and you'll be taken right on over to thepracticejoyshow.com. Once you get to that page, you will see a quick capture form to collect your name, email, and number. Give us your deets and we'll send you the goods. And now, back to the show. I saw Dr. Sharon Gorman speak at, we have been going to New Beginnings, which is it's a family reunion for chiropractors that I've been attending since I was 19. I'm 50 now, so do the math, right? And I saw Sharon share, and it was when we were first starting the idea of the Practice Joy Show. And every other word that she said, there was a little giggle. It was like joy was like springing out of all of the holes in her head. And I identified with it, and I felt my heart light, it lifted, and there was a lightness that came. I wasn't even listening to what you were saying, Sharon. I was just feeling your joy. And I leaned in and I reached out, and we had a really long conversation about a situation that really I choose the latter to not lean into joy with in my life. And she just gave me all of these reminders about how I can re-implement, re-instigate joy with that specific situation. And I've truly come to love you over the past year. So I want to hear from you. I mean, you're touching the lives of thousands of chiropractors on your journey as a teacher and a mentor. Talk to me about joy.
Wow. Joy is about the moment. It's about making choices in your life and having things handled so that you could just be there. I learned this daily from my 3 grandsons, the oldest being 5, and a new one coming in a few weeks. There's no such thing as later. There's no such thing as wait a minute. It's just about now. And when I usually spend a day a week with them, and after that day, I'm so full because I experienced life. And I know when I first started practice, within no time I had 4 offices, and then a few years later I started having kids, and I have 4 kids. And people are like, "How do you do all that?" And for me, it's in the doing. The less time I spend in my head, better. There's no adult supervision there. I need to be in the moment, giving and loving and serving. And in order to do that, I have to be anchored. And I have and as I'm sure all these other people that are on the line have, my morning procedure that gets me anchored, my meditation, my exercise, my learning. I spend every morning reading. I do all these things to make sure I'm in the right place, because if I'm not in the right place, I can't give to others. And then if I'm tired or, not myself, then I actually will stop choosing. And a lot of people stop choosing in life, and they feel like they're a victim, like their office isn't growing because of their CA, or, their marriage isn't working because of their spouse, instead of owning their choices and their lack thereof. Sometimes I don't make a choice, and then I don't like the result, and then it isn't my fault. Well, that doesn't work, because I can only change me. I can't change other people. So wishing other people change in my life, or live by my script. See, I have 4 kids. I mean, when I held them as infants, I knew what they were supposed to do with their life. I already had a script, and not all their scripts have matched my script. When I could put aside that they have a God and it's not me, then I could relax and let them play out their life and watch them make mistakes. Some of them, I made the very same mistakes. But I tease that I have holes in my tongue, because I bite my tongue so that I am still a safe place for them to come and make their mistakes. Just like a patient at the beginning, if they didn't follow my care plan, I used to throw them out of the office. Now, through being a mom and a grandmom, I know unconditional love. There's just nothing that somebody can do to make me stop loving them, because they're made of the same stuff I'm made of. And the expression of life, in my opinion, is my ability to get outside of myself and give to others. And at the end of the day, I hope I'm just used up. I hope I want to go to bed tired. Sometimes I'll start blaming it on my age, and probably most people that spend 12 hours during the day on their feet might have been tired that day. I don't want to, a lot of people my age start believing they're that old. I believe I'm today. I woke up this morning, I made choices, and I'm in this moment right now. I have a whole schedule of things to do today, but right now I am here. I'm with you, and I'm growing from listening to my mentors too, that are on the line. So thank you for including me in this very prestigious group.
I love it. I love it. I started an LLC a few years ago, and I called it Maybe Never Happens. And Maybe Never Happens is creating so much, including this show. And when people stop and say, well, sometimes it happens, I say, no, there's no maybe about making the decision and taking action, and showing up even if I don't want to. Even if I have every reason in the book to not show up, I still show up. And I serve and I love and I give, because that's why I'm here. I'm so clear on it. I used to really think that I knew how patients or practice members were supposed to show up, and what they were supposed to say and wear and do and drink and eat. And I truly feel like the more I know, the less I know. And I'm in this place of not knowing and being really okay with not knowing. So when someone comes to me and they say, why does this hurt? Why does that hurt? Why doesn't this move? Why doesn't that move? to be able to say truly, I don't know, is I've given myself permission to do that. And there's certainly joy in that humility. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to just open the space for anybody on today's show who feels like there's just something else that they need to share with and remember, our audience members, you guys, our audience, you're people from all over the world and all walks of life. We have physical therapists, we have occupational therapists, we have pharmacists, we have herbalists, we have a lot of chiropractors, we have psychotherapists from every part of the world who I've had the honor and the joy of touching their life in some way. And my hope is that as you're watching this show, you're going to be learning from the people who I learned from, because I'm very picky about who I take direction from. And the people on this show are the people who I've taken direction from over the years. So I just want to open it up to if my mentors here want to share a few more things about the honor, expression, and upholding of joy in practice and in life.
So yeah, being in this room with these amazing souls here, thank you all for teaching me over the years and continuously. What keeps moving through me right now as I'm listening and being in the space is a rehash of what's being said. Does life happen to you, or does life happen for you? Right? So if life happens to me, then I'm playing victim and I'm in the driver's seat or the passenger seat of life, which I spent a long time before I woke up. When life happens for me, I'm in the driver's seat. And as everybody was saying, right now I get to take full responsibility for my life, all of it, because it's my creation. It's happening if I do it unconsciously or not. Yet when I'm in the driver's seat, I get to take ownership for it, right? As it's been said. So I'd like to offer a beautiful little gift that I used to do with myself for years. And now that I say it, I'm going to put it back into play. And that is, if happiness and joy is my choice or responsibility, like inner peace, this is what my tool was. Today, just for today, what do I change? What do I exchange my inner peace for? So I get up in the morning, and I live in nature, like literally in the forest. So easy, right? Like be the yogi in the mountains, right in the cave, do it on the back of the school bus. So now I enter into civilization, and here comes somebody that might pull me off, pull off in traffic and flip me. I'm number one, right? Did I change my inner peace for that interaction? Like, did I get frustrated? Did I take it personal? So I get to witness, where did I just exchange my inner peace, my joy, for something? And I get to notice, wow, really? Like I just exchanged my joy and my peace because somebody looked at me the wrong way or flipped me off or didn't listen to advice I gave, right? And so that little exercise gives me the profound moment to constantly reflect on my choice and what I hold and sustain. So I would just like to put that out there for the listening audience.
And we can certainly, like, the inner Jersey can come out in me, believe me. If I pick one of you guys up at the airport, you'll see my lack of joy in a moment or two, right? But it's always an opportunity. Like, there's another opportunity. So
as long as I took care of myself, because it's not about me, it's all about everybody else. It's all in practice. It's not about me, it's about them. But unless I first take care of myself and really hone myself into a state of being high energy, because I've trained in the morning, I have had my meditation, I read some things positive, BJ Palmer a lot of times, books from, that are dear to us in chiropractic. Then I can come in at a certain state of being, with a certain state of presence, and then I can give of myself. And I realize that in practice, it's about giving. The more I give, the more I receive. So the more I take care of them, it's about them, not about me. But in order for it to be about them, I had to take care of myself. And I got that early on in my life when I realized that all of nature first takes in before giving back. You look at a cow, the cow eats the grass, drinks the water in order to produce the milk. They take first in order to give. And that has been a theme in my life and in all of my training. Train, commit with a discipline, with a willpower to commit to yourself every day. Then you can give of yourself to others. And when you do that, the joy is boundless. And, Sharon, I heard you saying, I want to be tired at the end of the day. Actually, for me, when I was in practice, I felt so much energy at the end of the day that I had to find a way to calm down so that I could go to sleep, because I was so fulfilled with the joy of having connected with people and being completely out of my way, feeling completely out of my way. And the few days where I recognized that I was in my way, then at the end of the day, I was drained. I was empty. But when you can step completely out of your way and give to others and serve others at the highest level, and put people first in practice. I see so many people struggling in practice because they put the business, the money, the finance, getting, what I'm getting. I want to get new people. I want to get this. I want to get this. Instead of, what about giving of yourself? And when you give of yourself, then it all comes back to you. There is providence, there is serendipity, there is grace that come your way. And that to me is essential. First, take care of yourself, hone yourself down so that you can come into your practice, into your life, into every day at the highest level of being, with a presence that really touch people. Just when you walk into a room, people feel your presence, they feel your beingness. And that gives them permission to do the same.
When Danny was saying, seeing everything joy, it just reminds me to live in gratitude, that if everything is happening the way it's supposed to, then I could be grateful for every experience. Some of them I enjoy, some of them I look at where I need to grow to be different. But living in gratitude. And I was waiting to graduate chiropractic school. I was waiting to, earn a certain amount. I was waiting to weigh a certain amount. All these things. I thought, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when. And then I learned the eternal lesson, which is I'm not going to be happy when, I'm happy now. And that's a reflection of my happiness. And that comes out of gratitude at every level, just being grateful for everything that I see around me and that I feel. I'm grateful that I feel. A lot of people don't allow themselves to feel. So
I think that there's so much uncertainty outside and so many conversations and voices saying, think this way, think that way, live in this box, live in that box. And it's very easy to say, I don't even know what I believe anymore, right? But I know a couple of things for sure. I know that if I serve somebody an adjustment to the best of my ability, a chiropractic adjustment, their experience on the planet is going to be a more authentic one. They're going to be more connected. I know that joy is real. I know that pain is real. And I know that it's very difficult to be in both at the same time. So of course, I know things like what it feels like to truly love somebody. I know what it feels like to feel really intense anger and fear. I remember when I was in chiropractic school, I had quite an explosion in my lower spine, and I couldn't walk for a couple of weeks. I had to take time off of school. I was in bad shape. And I remember one day being on our friend Val Panaccio had just come to my house and adjust me. I couldn't sleep in my bed because I couldn't get in it. And I remember one day laying on the floor, feeling the pain running down my legs and just saying, if I can just feel the pain, maybe I can feel through the pain. And it happened. I did it. And I felt the pain. I stopped resisting the pain. I felt through the pain. And on the other side of it was a release of pain. And the release of pain always in my storybook is joy. So can you imagine the depth of consciousness that allowed me to experience in practice? Can you imagine that was so much truer of a class for me to participate in chiropractic school than whatever the other class in the curriculum was. Feeling that pain, living through that pain, because can you imagine the experience of me walking somebody else through that? And I've had the joy of doing that for, hundreds of thousands of adjustments at this point. So with about 5 minutes left of this episode of the Practice Joy Show, anybody else want to share anything that's coming up for them regarding joy?
My thought is that if there's some people tuning into the Practice Joy show, there's probably some people that want to experience joy and maybe are not experiencing it. And that may be part of why they're tuning in, because they may not be experiencing joy to the level that they would like to. And what I'd like to advise or share is to serve your way out of it. If you're listening to some of this from these wonderful people I also admire very well, and you're saying, I'm not there, or that's what I'd like to have more of, then serve your way out of it. Anybody can serve. Yes, a couple of people mentioned chiropractic, and you can serve that way. And you can serve by giving a person a piece of food. You can serve by opening a door. You can serve by making a difference to a child. You can find all kinds of ways to serve. And living is giving. And if you give more and serve more, you always find the universe works like a boomerang, and you'll receive more. It's a universal law. So if you'd like to have an experience of more joy, whether it be practice, like was discussed for probably many of the viewers and listeners, but it may be people in other areas of life, serve your way out of it. Serve more, and joy will come. And it's just a universal law to have it happen. So serve your way out of it.
Even if it's opening the door for somebody, or paying for the person in line behind you, or it's the art of giving time. I'm always talking to my students about time, energy, money, the protection of time, energy, money, the giving of time, energy, money, the honoring of time, energy, money. And if we can constantly be in a state of service with our time, with our energy, and with our money, not only for our community, but for ourselves too. When was the last time we laid down on the floor and did nothing? That's an honoring of time, of energy, perhaps even of money, right? So any other last minute, I gotta just say this one more thing.
Is in serving, what you were just talking about, Jodi, is also complimenting people and making people feel good when they're around you. That's such a gift that people tell me all the time, that they just feel good about themselves when they're around me. They remember how they feel when they're around me, and that comes out of a graciousness, out of abundance, and out of gratitude, and also exactly what you were talking about, giving. That's giving out of abundance.
Right, to find something to say, wow, your earrings are beautiful, or your skin looks so bright and clear, or even saying somebody's name when we're in. Danielle, I love you and it's so good to see you today, is a lot different from, hey, it's great to see you today. To identify somebody, but how often do we hear our own name said to us? And if we can be a fulcrum of that joy, so be it, yeah? Okay, my
Jodi?
friends. Yeah, please.
I'd like to follow up what Sharon just said too, is have the courage to show up in your authentic self, right? So in this place that everybody, Sharon and Danny just talked about, of serving, is get out of your own way, right? Get over the fears and the stories and the lack and limitation that we tend to carry in my stuff, right? And when we, as Arno's, right, when we're not making it about us and we make it about them, then we can show up, because until we do that, we can't help them. We can't be of service to the higher levels to assist them to remember. And that could be telling them the truth, right? Have the courage to tell somebody the truth of what they might need, however that shows up for that interaction. But the big part that I would support people in is have the courage to show up in your authentic self.
You're so good at doing that.
Yeah, I think integrity and authenticity is a key.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity in every small detail of life allows you to walk through life in a different way. So for the people listening, if you are out of integrity, just clear it. Clear it, whether it's from the past, from the present, from things that you haven't done, a parking ticket that you haven't paid, whatever it is, clear all matter of integrity. And you won't believe what happened to you.
Thanks,
And some
guys.
self-forgiveness, right? Do some work. And as Arno was just saying, right? Clean it up, heal it, create closure, quit carrying the shit forward.
So I hope that you loved this edition of the Practice Joy Show. There's so much more coming. Thank you so much to my lovely, amazing guests. I love each one of you so dearly.